What's up, y'all? Welcome to In the Wild, and joining us today for a very special episode in the Lucy C. Laney Museum for Black History is two very special guests from our community. First up, we have the Vice Basileus for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Mr. Joe Moore, and we have the President of the Augusta Alumnae Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Ms. Danita Myler. Welcome, and thank y'all so much for being here. How's it going?
Okay. And thank you for inviting us.
Yes, this is my first time here in the Lucy C. Laney Museum, and I'm loving it. But today, we wanted to talk a little bit about your experiences of being a fraternity and sorority member of a Black lettered Greek organization. But get us started, tell us a little bit about your undergraduate experience. Joe, you went to Payne and you went to Georgia Tech.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, actually, I did attend Payne College. Graduated in 1968. Of course, at Payne, we did not have a Greek-led organization until 1970, so I had a chance I missed that opportunity. But I did join a graduate chapter later on, Psi Omega chapter, in 1998. Of course, I can say that our college was a kind of a Methodist supported institution, and the focus was primarily on educating African Americans for service to their communities. And of course, fraternities were something that they worked on over time. But of course, in 1970, they did initiate, allow Greek-led organizations on campus, and those organizations are thriving at this point.
For sure. Okay, so I graduated from Georgia Tech, and our Delta chapter started in 1978, and I was part of the charter line that started the Xi Alpha chapter. We started because all of the Black Greek organizations were trying to get started. Omega Psi Phi was the first one on campus, and it took them a long time to finally get there, but they were there, and we started after them. The women were asked to support them with pearls, being pearls, and I just had a problem with that because that wasn't our organization. It was just supporting somebody else's organization. That's fine for some, but if it wasn't going to be our thing, I wasn't interested. So when some friends of mine got together, we went on, and it took us 2 years to get our chapter started, but it finally started. So in 1978, we were established on Georgia Tech campus.
So how did you know you wanted to be a part of that particular organization versus another?
Well, I really didn't at the time. I wasn't exposed to sororities at all. I was kind of, except for my aunt, the only one that had gone to college. Fortunately, my friends had selected the correct one. So, I went with them, and that was the best decision that we could make. And once I got started, we are a service organization, as Omega Psi Phi is, and all the other organizations. So our focus has always been service to the community, and that's very important to me. So I fit in with the dreams and the goals of our founders.
And I can say that a great friend of mine was a member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, and anyway, his brother invited us to one of their main social events, something called the Mardi Gras, and it's a kind of a very well-funded social event that occurs during the spring of the year, and during that event we invite lots of people from the community to come together and celebrate. And of course, during that event, we choose a queen is selected, and of course, I enjoyed that event, and of course, that sort of initiated my interest in joining Of course, after I joined, later on I found it wasn't just about that event. Also, I guess I might have been attracted to the fraternity by the colors and about their paraphernalia that I saw. But I realized later on that those issues were just a partial pieces of it. The main thing, as Danita has said, is that we are in place to serve our communities.
So what would you say are some, or how was it received when you joined your organization, especially since you were at that time the first for Georgia Tech?
It was well received. At Georgia Tech, blacks are the minority there. So it was an organization that we could get together and express our common interests and to determine what we can do on campus and in the community besides having to study all the time.
Well, when you think about the needs of the community, think about mentoring, we think about providing blood, providing tutoring, encouraging people to get out to vote, encouraging folks to participate in civic activities. Communities become good or great by citizens becoming engaged in those kind of things. And I think this is the kind of thing that makes our Omega brothers work hard. We put long hours and put in time after work and come together and plan to support our communities. So I think that's the thing, and that's that kind of effort is generally received in the community. I think many of the folk recognize who we are, regardless of which group we're in. Well, we are deltas, AKAs, sigmas, iotas, kappas, or whatever. The community recognizes those symbols, and most of these organizations are trying in place to do the same thing. You know, just to improve our communities, the whole community that we live in.
When you think of some favorite memories from your time serving your respective organizations in the community, what first comes to mind?
The favorite?
Yeah, some of your favorite memories or highlights of your experience being involved in your organization.
Well, I'm kind of a worker,
Okay.
so an organizer. So I try to work, especially being president now with our local chapter, to get our information out. My greatest joy was working on the 2020 election and getting the community out and getting the community to understand that your vote does count. And there's so many misconceptions that were out there, and it was like, we value what you're saying and what you need, but if you don't get out, then you just have no voice. So it was just very rewarding to see that we got so many people out, and we were working from so many different areas to get them out all those many times with the runoffs and all of that, because it was like, yes, you voted, we need you to vote again. And that was just so rewarding to see that they could come out. They started to understand that their voice does count. So, and I really did just appreciate that. We work very hard to try to do things within the community and with the social action, with our young people, because we have various programs for them too. And when you can see young people blossom, that they come in all shy and all of that, and towards the end of the year, they're handling programs and doing things, and they don't need our help as much. And we can send them out to be better in the community to help their family and the other students that they go to school with. So it's just a blessing when you see things blossom and really come out there and work.
And just what piggyback up what Danita has said, all of us are in place to support our communities. And my particular organization works with the Boys and Girls Club. And we also have adopted a school, I think, Hornsby K-8 school. We have our guys go there and work with the students there. And also, as Danita said, talked about the election. When you deal with the election process, it's not just going out to vote, but the issue of being registered to vote, and then being educated. What are the issues? Making sure that our folk know what the issues are, and then the other thing is mobilization, actually going to the polls and being committed to going to the polls to vote. And so that's very, very, very essential. We can't do enough to improve our community. There's so much. There's homelessness. There's unemployment. There's gun violence. There are so many things so many needs in our communities that we need to address, and it'll take everybody, not just the Greek organization, but every citizen needs to be involved. And certainly, we want to make sure we do our part to make sure we have a great community to live in. Make sure that our children are doing what they need to do in school, trying to get a good quality education so they can become gainfully employed and become great parents and great citizens. And so all that's a part of what we're really trying to do as a Greek organization.
I'm sure the community values all of your service, but switching gears a little bit and thinking more so about some of the younger generations, what do you think are some misconceptions that would maybe dissuade people from joining or being interested in Greek life?
Well, it's still out there that a lot of the Greek organizations party hard.
Yeah.
and we do. However, we work hard too. Service is our main function, and people may not see all the things that we're doing in the background, that we are out in the community. We are doing we're donating, we're collecting, we're educating, we're having summits, we're doing a lot of work. So we kind of feel like we have earned being able to party. But sometimes that's all people see. And then we also, unfortunately, have some people that want to be in the organization and they want to wear all the letters and they have everything, head to toe, but they're not doing anything. And that's not our purpose. And if you're just interested in partying, then stay out there and party. But if you're going to come in our organization, we're expecting you to work. And it's expensive and it's a lot of work. And if you can't do that, there are other things that you can do. But we really do focus in on the work that we have to do. And it's voluntary and everybody has obligations. But you've got to carve out that time to get things done, because if we work together, more can be accomplished. So, we just keep trying to get the young people to understand. If you start off young and you understand what some of the causes are and the things that need to be done, it's easier as you get older that you have a focus of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish.
And to add on what Danita said, Greek letter organizations are not poor women or poor men clubs. It requires time, commitment, and resources to do the things we do. She mentioned, services like, let's say, blood drives. We support food drives, and just the time. We have families or children and grandchildren, and besides supporting them, we also try to support children in the neighborhood, students in the neighborhood where there's a need, where we can fit in. I think that's an important piece. Again, there's plenty of work to be done. It's for example, it takes a lot of time and initiatives to make sure we are coming up. For example, we had an event campaign to bring in the candidates, meet and greet the candidates. We invited all of the local candidates who were running for various offices in our particular fraternity to share their platforms and allow some of our individuals to ask questions. Provided a meal for them and so forth, and several of the other organizations have had those kind of things. So people can be aware of the issues and get a chance to see the candidates close up and ask them the questions. Having the right people in place to lead our community in our nation will help us to become the kind of community and the kind of nation that we can become.
When you think about your experiences, what has kept you involved over the years? Because you're both involved in your respective organizations today. Why did you decide to stay so active to this day?
It was the service work and the sisterhood. It's always nice when you come in to a place that people know your name. So when you find like-minded people, it's easier to get things done, to bounce ideas off of each other, to see, well, what do you think will work? How can we get this done? Do we need to collaborate with another organization to have better bang for our buck? What do we need to do? So when you start off young, then you can just start seeing the benefit of it. And we all have conferences and conventions that we go to, and of course we get all the rah-rah speeches and all of that. And that helps too, that you meet other people from all over the world, really, that are like-minded, they're trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. So that just keeps you motivated to stay within your organization and to keep going.
Okay. And as Danita has said, we have monthly chapter meetings. We have a business meeting second Wednesday, and then we have a social meeting on the fourth Wednesday. We receive information from our state organization. We have a state organization where all the chapters in Georgia are linked to that, and so they provide information that's going on within the fraternity and the initiatives that are going on in our state. Then there's a district. We have a 7th district where we have organizations in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, I think Mississippi. And then, so we also have a state meeting, a district meeting. In fact, this year it's in Huntsville around the latter part of March. And we come together to talk about all the things that are going on in those states, how to relate to those. And then every 2 years we have something called a conclave, which is a meeting where everyone in the fraternity will come together to look at where we're going, what kind of things that we need to be working on in terms of making sure brothers are trained properly and make sure you know what we need to be doing in the community and how to present ourselves and what's the business like. What can we do for our community? What else can we do? I think with the conclave, we're all together. We get a chance to meet, as Danita had said, individuals from, because we're an international fraternity, not just a national fraternity. We even have chapters in Africa and other countries. Yeah. Anyway. So.
When you look at younger generations and newer members, would you say that they're living up to the legacy that your founders started the organization for?
I think they are. We have 2 collegiate chapters here in Augusta. Musi is at Augusta University, and we're reactivating Eta Theta at Payne College. There's always an interest shown among the collegiates, and they have to meet the standards to get in our sorority, so that they already have to show that they have some leadership skills, that they are trying to get good education, that their focus is correct. It's just good to see that so many are interested, and Payne College really worked hard for us to try to reactivate their chapter back. And that just helps them focus on their education and the work that we're trying to do, so that we teach them what our 22 founders started us off with. And with their first event that they did was the Women's Suffrage March. And the women didn't really want our sorority to be in it. They were going to stick us in the back, and we didn't stand for that. And we're all up amongst people. But we started off doing work, doing social action. So we try to entice those young ladies that are interested in the same things, that are willing to do the work of Delta for the community.
We have 4 mega chapters in the Augusta area. We have Gamma Beta at Payne College, Mega Eta at Eta Omega at Augusta University. We have Upsilon Gamma Gamma, which is considered the Fort Gordon chapter, and we have Psi Omega chapter, which is the oldest chapter in the area. It was founded in 1925. I think we're growing. We're getting better. One of the reasons why we're better now is because we have more devices for communication, email, and all the Zoom. We can meet. If we can't meet face to face, we can meet. We made by other means, conference call, or we have call-in posts. We have all kind of tools that we didn't have many years ago. Many years ago, everything had to be copied, give people pieces of paper, but now they can have it on their phone or whatever, on their computer. But anyway, prior to pandemic, that new technology helped us to become better. And because we have young, bright, new members who are good with technology. Many of us came along during the typewriter age, and so copying machine age. So now we're able to communicate much better and getting information out. It's all about getting information out, and if there's for example, for this meeting today, I've got a call from my boss saying that he couldn't be here, but because he was able to text me, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to get me. He was able to send me a text. Brother Jerome Rouse is my president of Basileus. He was able to communicate with me, send me the list of your questions. So, and some years ago that wouldn't have been possible. So and then we just have young, bright, new people in the fraternity that are growing, because we can't knock down our guys who've been around for a minute. We have some great members who've been around for a minute and started at these HBCUs, and they bring a lot to the table. Those of us who are new to the chapters, we don't, we have a lot to learn still, to say it that way. But again, it's it's a growing thing, and there are always new things to do. There are new initiatives that we need to do. So we're always going to be lifelong learners as we are in education. Lifelong learners. What are the new things we need to do? Yeah.
All right, last question. If you could tell your younger self something right before you joined your organization, what would it be? Like right before you joined, some advice or some inspiration.
Get ready for the ride.
Okay.
It's a lot of work, but it is rewarding. Just keep your eyes on the prize, and it'll be okay.
I would say a lot of individuals are attracted to the various attire, like Vania's wearing her Delta red, and she has a triangle, and the pearls around it. What I'm saying is, it's not about, and the Megas the purple, and the Kappas the red, and the Sigmas the blue, and AKAs the pink and green. All those colors, iotas, their colors. If you're wearing the colors and not doing anything, I think she said that earlier, it's not about that. It's about the work. Certainly not about the parties, but join, become involved, make a commitment to service of your community, and that's the key thing. It's not just going to the parties and not just running around with your tag on your car or whatever. None of that really matters if you're not doing anything. And you don't do anything for recognition. You do it because it needs to be done. Well, regardless of who does it, as long as it gets done.
Thank y'all so much for being here. I feel so inspired, and I know everyone watching this will be inspired as well.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for inviting us. Mm-hmm.
Hi, so I'm Dr. Lorraine Evans, and I'm the Executive Director of the Academic Success Center. Augusta University wants all of our students to be successful, inside and outside of the classroom. And the Academic Success Center is for that inside of the classroom part. We want all of our students to be able to reach their goals and their academic potential. At the Academic Success Center, we have peer tutors, and these are students who have taken the classes that you are now visiting them for, so they can help you learn the strategies and skills and things that you need to do for that course. We also have peer coaches, and peer coaches are going to help you with time management and new study strategies for those courses that you haven't had before. And then we have our workshops, and so once or twice a week we have workshops that are about topics specific to that week. So we'll have exam preparation workshops, or we'll have workshops about how to, manage your final schedule type thing. The Academic Success Center is here to help you be successful in your classes, and we hope to see you here.
Welcome back, y'all, to In the Wild, and joining me on our Black History Month episode is a charter member and the first president of the Mu Psi chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and we have the current vice president of Eta Alpha for the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Quinton Taylor, and Ms. Audrey Spry. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Thank y'all so much for being here. Getting us started, because you are a charter member and the first president of the first Black sorority on campus, which I thought was super amazing. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience at what was Augusta College and why you decided to go here?
Well, coming into Augusta College was definitely a great experience for me. I first went off to college, and I guess I got homesick, so I decided to come back home and go to school. And my parents were so kind to buy me a car. Oh. And so, so I ended up coming to Augusta College and getting my bachelor's degree there in English.
Okay. And what about you, Quinton? Why did you decide to come to AU?
Oh, there's a lot of reasons.
Okay.
A lot of reasons. Augusta University wasn't really my first choice in going to college. I originally went to Payne College my freshman year, and I transferred to AU my sophomore year. I just saw bigger and better opportunities for me at Augusta University, and I felt like it was a place that was meant for me at the time. And I still feel like that at this moment.
Okay. So what did campus look like when you were a student, and how has it changed since you left campus?
Okay. Well, remember now, I was there in the 70s.
Okay.
And so at that time, there were army barracks for the classrooms and the professor offices. And so that's what we went to class in, were army barracks. So, you know, that's an extreme change to now. The campus is, I think, a much more open campus, a much friendlier campus, and it's just simply beautiful.
So what did those army barracks look like being turned into classrooms and offices, and what?
Oh gosh, it was just long buildings.
Okay.
And like I said, the classrooms were in there, sort of like in the center of the buildings were the offices. And I even had employment on campus where I worked in the foreign language lab, and we had reel-to-reel tapes where I would have to pay the tapes for students to come in for their foreign language labs. And so not a lot of technology, of course, but they were able to get the job done with us.
What did you think of campus before you came on as an AU student?
Before I came on as an AU student, I would always look at Augusta University and be like, man, this is a bigger institution, and I saw more opportunities out there for me at Augusta University. I didn't really think I was going to transfer to the school when I first saw it, 'cause I thought it was too big. I thought I wasn't really gonna fit in and stuff like that. But once I actually stuck my foot out there and actually tested the waters a little bit, I realized it was a perfect fit for me. So I was just this big school that I wanted to go to.
Did you feel like it took you a while to fit in, or how did that come about?
Oh no, it didn't take me long to fit in at all. Especially during COVID, I feel like it took me around a month or two to actually get involved in clubs and everything. I first saw the African American Male Initiative Program. Jerry Oliver, he had sent me an email saying, hey, I want you to get involved with this program. I feel like it's the best fit for you. And that's how I'm still involved now at AMI. But it didn't take me long at all to get involved with anything. I felt like the student body was very welcoming. The staff was very welcoming. And I just got really comfortable really fast.
So switching gears a little bit, why did you decide, or how did you decide that you wanted to join a sorority, and how did that sorority become Delta Sigma Theta?
Okay, opposite to his experience coming in, we had one organization on campus that was really open and accepting Black students, and that was the Black Student Union. So several young ladies and I got together and decided that it would be good to have a sorority on campus. And we had relatives that were Deltas, like my godmother, some of the other of my line sisters had relatives that, and we liked the values that Delta had, and so we pursued Delta. And it took us 13 weeks to get that chapter on campus. Yeah, took a long time.
Well, some would say that might have been a quick turnaround, though, for 13 weeks.
Right. It doesn't seem like it when you're doing it.
And I guess, Quinton, for you, how did you know you wanted to join a fraternity, and how did you decide on joining your specific fraternity? I can't speak.
Well, it took a lot of research for one, a lot of research to see what was meant for me, what fit my personality, what fit my motives. What made me want to be a part of a fraternity, I realized I wanted to be a part of something greater than myself. I wanted to be a part of something that's in our history, something that's in our Black history. So most of Alpha's motives and motto and the mission statement were who I am now. Develop leaders, I'm a leader. Love all mankind, love everybody, love all mankind. And we uplift womanhood. So that's something that my mother installed in me since I was a little child. So I feel like this fraternity is a perfect fit. I'm perfect for the fraternity.
What has it been like to see other organizations come after Delta? So now we have, I want to say 7 out of the Divine 9, I believe, that we have on campus.
That's an AU? Mm-hmm. It's 7.
So what has that been like to see like more fraternities and sororities since she's left?
Yes. Oh, that is awesome. I think that I feel good that we led the way and we led the charge in doing this. The Omegas came on the very next year after us, and I don't know the years that the other organizations came on board, but it really is good that you now have an option, more of an option, and that there are more organizations on campus now for the African American student.
Do you feel at the time when you were a student that it was well received for you being a Delta on campus?
Yes, it was. It really was. And now, the year that the chapter was established, the very next year is when I graduated. So I only had a short time to really enjoy being a Delta on campus. But yeah, it was very well received, yes.
Do you think, and I guess this can go to you too, Quinton, do you think NPHC organizations have changed over time? And if so, how?
I think that the organizations have basically stuck to the values that were established by the founders of those organizations. So I would think that, each organization on campus is still carrying out those values.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been on the yard that long. I crossed last fall, fall 22. I can say we lean more towards social media, which is a good thing. So we can broadcast that we are out here and broadcast national issues and stuff like that. So that's just my experience so far.
So some people will say that because we're in a time of making America like this melting pot, that there's not necessarily a need to have like Black specific organizations. What are y'all thoughts on having Black fraternities and sororities and them remaining primarily Black?
Well, I do think that the organizations are needed because of the focus of the organizations, scholarships, community service, and other issues that are very needed by especially our young Black students coming up now. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we could have more participation when it comes to Black student body at Augusta University, when it comes to joining clubs and just being involved and supporting one another. So yeah.
How would you say the impact of those organizations have had over the years for, I guess, the Augusta community at least, because both of y'all came from an Augusta chapter?
I would say, and I have worked within the education system here, and I have seen many students get scholarships from the various organizations, and I know that's been a big help in the community. And again, the public service that the organizations do, whether it's in a nursing home or just helping a family in need, the organizations focus on helping, and that I don't think will ever change. It shouldn't ever change.
Do you think the younger generations, I'm not calling you out because you just
It's okay.
But do you think the younger generations are living up to the legacies that you, I guess, and your line sisters have left for them, I guess, on our campus, but also just in general?
I think that they are. Now, I'm not familiar with a lot of what goes on now, but I have been on AU's campus, and I do know that the Deltas there are doing a lot of their community service work.
And what do you think are some misconceptions that people still have about Black fraternities and sororities?
That we're party organizations. And that's all we want to do is party. But I do think that's probably the number one misconception, would you say?
Yeah. I would say that, and like not being as welcoming, but open arms, love talking to people, love getting to know the people. We love people getting to know us.
Right.
So just taking that first step, that's really the tough part.
Okay. And what would you say to someone who may be interested but is not sure how to express that interest? Because I know discretion for those who are interested in joining organizations is still highly valued.
It's a ton of ways to go about it. You could, one, just try to get to know somebody to start a random conversation. Or, it's social media's out here now too. We have advanced technology, different ways you can get in contact with somebody. Like you can call somebody on Instagram. That's wild. So, hit them up or DM saying, hey, I see the work y'all do. We're interested, or I'm just trying to get to know you as a person, or just go through our pages. Our pages are open or public, so you can see the work we do. Even individual pages, you can see the work we do individually, where it's like school work or just anything you have in common with anybody. You can relate to anybody. So it's in multiple ways: text, call, see I'm struggling when they help me out with a box or something. It's real simple.
Right.
Earlier, my interviewees mentioned that there's still a lot of work to be done within Black fraternities and sororities. So I wanted to ask y'all, what do you think some of that work looks like for your respective organizations? In terms of servicing the community, servicing the campus, what do you think?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it really is a good question.
I didn't need to stop you with that one, I promise.
But there's always a need, and there will always be a need. And so maybe just organizations trying to encompass a larger territory to provide the services that they provide. I don't know what it's like on campus now, because I know that a lot of the students work as well as going to school, and it's difficult to find time to do a lot of activities. But like I said, with social media, a lot of things can be done through that. Yes.
And then last question that I asked them earlier as well, if you had to tell your younger self something before you joined your organization, what would that be?
Wow, that's a good one.
Ooh, I still am kind of young, so
I would not have done anything differently.
Okay.
That's for sure. I'm very glad that we were able to start this organization, and that it's still going on today, almost 50 years later. And, I just think that that we do have a reunion once a year among the members that have come through the chapter. And so for me, it's just a great feeling when I get to meet the sorors that have come after me, and to see that the wonderful works that they are doing everywhere. I mean, we have, doctors, lawyers, a lot of different professions. And not only that, even our advisors that have served the chapter. One of our advisors, Soror Rice, even went on to become two-term national president. And so it's just it's nothing that I would change differently, that's for sure.
Well, speaking from my young experience, can't really back all that up. But I would say for me is to get more involved before I joined my organization, because I didn't realize, one, how important it is to be involved in the community as an African American, is to bring awareness to that, and two, how fun it is, because you meet different people, different opportunities out there, and you never know what you'll come across. So just to be more involved before I did anything. So yeah.
Thank y'all so much for being here. Super inspired to hear from both of you. I know everyone watching is feeling inspired, and thank you for making this a very special episode.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Berger, Director of Testing and Disability Services. TDS determines and provides accommodations for our students with disabilities. Disabilities are conditions that include learning disabilities, ADHD, physical, psychological, and sensory disabilities, as well as medical conditions such as severe allergies, diabetes, and chronic illnesses. If you're a student who received accommodations in the past, you should register with TDS. If you're a student who needs housing or meal plan accommodations, come see us. If you're a student who has a temporary disability, you should register. Once registered with TDS, you'll work with a service provider who gets to know you and your needs. They will be a resource for you during your entire tenure at Augusta University. Our team is here to assist you with learning the process of requesting your accommodations and discussing your needs with your professors until you feel comfortable advocating for yourself. If you're hesitant or uneasy about how to have those conversations, we're here to help every step of the way. You may think TDS only provides classroom and testing accommodations, but we're actually advocates for our students and can provide a lot more assistance than extra time on exams. Testing and Disability Services works with offices throughout the university. SCAPS, Academic Advisement, and the Academic Success Center, to name a few. We're a bridge for our students to connect to campus-wide resources. We are also here to help you strengthen your self-advocacy skills, learn how to connect to faculty, and build a foundation of support in your academic program so you can forge and follow your own pathway. Remember, TDS has a lot more to offer than extra time on exams or making sure you have accessible textbooks and class materials. Our mission is to empower students with disabilities and to ensure every student has equal access to an education in all aspects of life here at Augusta University. If you have any questions, please contact us at tds@augusta.edu or 706-737-1469, or even stop into the office to see us. We're located on the ground floor of Galloway Hall on the Somerville campus. I'd love to see you there soon.